Hey there, this is Sandy, and I normally don't show my face on videos, but today I thought it would be fun to do that. To see the person who's behind the camera working on the embroidery. And I'm at my Solaris, and I'm working on a t-shirt for someone who I thought was very special. Charlie Kirk, he's the father, a very nice person who used to debate with kids on campus, and he was killed. And so I wanted to make something because I feel like I've got to do something to help. I just feel so helpless when something like that happens. When another person is killed, it's just not good. And I just thought this would help me to get through that ordeal. And so I designed a t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt with some words on it about what I thought of him, and I thought that is, to me, you know, working on crafts when I'm going through pain or just working through problems, it's just always helpful. So I'm going to switch the camera to show you what it's doing. Anyway, it's doing like a quilting for the cross that I made on the t-shirt. And if you look on the screen, that's what I'm going to be doing. Lots of lettering with the background of quilting for the t-shirt. I just wanted to try it. This t-shirt wasn't too expensive, so if I mess up, I mess up. In the meantime, I'm playing with IQ Designer and the embroidery edit module and really learning things better, changing colors so that I got what I want in there, and we'll see how it turns out. I know I designed it so that there is a, I've tape on my finger, a satin finishing stitch around the outside of the cross. So that will be fun to watch. So I will continue this, and this part of it stitches for 12 minutes. I'm going to keep going with this design, and I'll come back. So it finished in embroidering the beautiful background quilting design. And let's see if I can move you back farther. Looks like that will not go back any farther. That's pretty close. Well, anyway, I'm going to start with the next color, which is the satin stitch around the outside. And this will go 6 minutes, so this is going to take a while. It's just doing a somewhat narrow satin stitch around the outside. I guess I could have made that a little bigger when I was designing, but I decided to go with that. So I'll let you watch this a second, and then I will just fast forward, or just wait until I change to the next color, and then you can see that. And here we are again. It's about a little over half done. And as you can see, it's doing a good job. So far so good without the water soluble. I think it's because I used this medium weight cutaway stabilizer. And I know it's kind of a lightweight t-shirt, but because there's lettering, you'll see on the screen, lots of lettering, I thought I should go with the a little bit heavier weight. And I can cut it away around the cross and around the words. And so that's what I decided to do, and it's so far so good. Oh, it made it through the satin stitch around the outside. So now it's working on the first lettering, which is words. We'll see how those stitch out. I can't believe I picked red. I was trying to do like red, white, and blue, but I'm doing on a red t-shirt, so I changed it to this copper color. And the words look a little small, but we'll see how it is when it's all stitched out. I don't know if anybody out there knew Charlie Kirk, but he was a very young 31-year-old man who used to go to colleges and debate with students there all over the country. He debated with so many different people, and he was just so much fun to watch. And he was assassinated yesterday when he was doing one of the debates, and it's just sad that such a young life was taken. And so this is my way of paying tribute to his life, because nobody's life should be taken over politics. This word that's stitching out is just truthful. And his belief in God was very strong, and his, you know, the basis that I understand as I listened to him for his debates was always like God-based, biblically based. He had a solid belief in God. And so I always knew I could rely on the truth when I listened to him. I am going to try and use some metallic thread near the bottom with the words that I picked there. And so we'll see how that turns out. And if this doesn't turn out as bright as I thought I would, because as I was putting the words in the design, I had to shrink them to fit the cross. I can always go over it. I've done that before. Well, we finished the first word, and now it's stitching out the second word, which I picked it respectful, because every debate that I watched, he was very courteous and respectful to the people he was talking with. And we finished the word respectful, so now it's going on to stitch out the USA. So I'll be back when that's done. So now we're done with the word, or the letters USA. We're moving on to the next word, which is courageous. Back on the USA, Charlie was always very big supporter of the USA and the Constitution, and that's why I put that on this t-shirt. I thought he was very courageous to go out into those campus grounds and debate all of those young people fairly. He tried to be fairly. He tried to keep it like an argument for a debate and just stick with the facts. And then I remember many times when watching him, if, you know, they agreed to disagree, he would say thank you for the dialogue at the end, which I thought was his way of being respectful to every person he debated that didn't agree with him, that they just couldn't get to, stand on the same ground. So he still respected who they were and as a person, but to me, he was very courageous. Move it in there a little bit closer. Well, like I said, there's lots of words that are going on this cross. So we will continue after this is done. So we finished the courageous word, and now it's moving on to the next one, which is the big letters in the top. I put faithful servant there because his belief in God was just amazing. I'm Christian too, but he's like, to me, a model Christian, so young and so confident about his beliefs. No doubting. He was just an amazing person. So decided to include that on the t-shirt. So I'll let that stitch out and I'll come back. Okay, I finished the faithful word, and now the next word up top is God. And I'm trying some metallic thread up top. So we'll see how that goes. It's Wonderfill metallic thread. I did use some sewer's aid on the spool, and I'm using a thread net on it. I also slowed the machine speed down to 350 stitches per minute. So I'm hoping that those steps will allow this stitch out to look real good. And it looks like it's kind of like a variegated silver. If you know Charlie Kirk, he had a devout belief in God. So that's why I included that word on my shirt. I think after it's done stitching the G, I'll probably put more sewer's aid on the spool, and then I'll move on to the next 2 letters. And I'll come back. So it's stitched out God, and now it's going to stitch out the top words for Charlie Kirk. This is just a t-shirt that serves as a memorandum for me. Someone that I really like to listen to. A young man that died way too soon. So this is my tribute to him. So the top part is the 2 words, his name, Charlie Kirk. And we'll continue on after it's done stitching. So I'm sewing out the years at the bottom now. His life was a 31-year span only. So sad that someone so talented, brilliant, loving could be killed. It's just so sad to me. So I included that on my t-shirt. And now I'm starting on the word kindness, because in every debate that I watched, he was very kind to everyone he debated. It goes hand in hand with being respectful. While he may have been very truthful while debating with the kids on campus, he was also very gentle and kind about the words he chose. So I'll be back when that's done. The next word after kindness is patient. I can't tell you how many times I watched him debate kids who, he's just trying to get in their heads and understand how they thought, so he could try and get through. And if he couldn't get through after several tries, he would thank them for the dialogue. So respectful and kind and patient, because he would try to do it from many angles. So I thought of him as being very patient. How many people do you know that would take the time to do that with so many people? It's just mind-boggling. Now that we have that word stitched out, I'm doing the other side of this cross. I think, depending on how I added the words in is how it's stitching it out. And so I have another USA here in blue. And so that will take 6 minutes to stitch out the 3 letters. Actually, it's green. Looks like it's green. Once that stitches out, I'll be back. So now I am stitching the word family. He had 2 little children, very young children, and a wife that he leaves behind. It's so sad that they won't know their father, but their father was a hero, and they should know that. So yes, he had a family and a wife with 2 kids, like I said. So I'm using the word family in this t-shirt. I'll be back when that's done stitching. So I've got the word family stitched out, and that's, by the way, that's some more of the metallic thread by Wonderfill. I've just been making sure I use Sewer's Aid every time I thread the spool, and also if I'm like halfway through the word, I might add more. My friend told me she had trouble with using this thread, but I've been doing that, and so far it's worked very well. But I use the word father next because, like I said, he had a family and he was a father. And he stood up for fathers across America and men in general. And so when I think of him, I think of that as well. So I wanted that to be in my t-shirt. When that's done stitching out, I'll come back. So now that I've stitched out family and father down here in the metallic thread, and I wanted that to stand out because that's like the humanity of Charlie Kirk and how I, like everyone in the country, believes, as far as most of us believe, that political violence is just wrong, and killing anybody over anything is just wrong, right? But especially when you just have differing opinions, it's just wrong. So I wanted those words to stand out. And in fact, the larger words and the words with the bright colors, I wanted to stand out. Like faithful is above the word that's stitching out now in the bright, it's kind of a goldish yellow. And then servant is really what I think of Charlie Kirk as. To me, Charlie Kirk was like a disciple in our world today, because everything he did, his motivation came from his belief in God. And so I think of him as a faithful servant. So this one will take a while to stitch out because each letter takes a minute. So I'll come back when I'm done with that. Now it's stitching out the last few words at the bottom. And it's supposed to be love thy neighbor. I think I'm going to slow this down a little bit because I'm using that metallic thread again. And I've got it at 400, but I think I'm going to just put it at 350. I put these words on the t-shirt because to me this killing someone over political disagreement is just senseless. And you know, what can we do to prevent this from happening? If we could just find a way to be peaceful with each other and love thy neighbor, which is one of the things Jesus said in the New Testament. So I wanted that to be part of this t-shirt because there has to be hope for the future. So the sweatshirt or t-shirt long sleeve is somewhat finished. I forgot that this t-shirt is kind of like not the best quality, so I guess I'll consider this my trial t-shirt, but it turned out okay. And it shows Charlie Kirk. He stood for God. He stood up for the USA. He was a faithful servant. He was truthful, respectful, courageous. He was filled with kindness, patience. He was a father of 2 and a husband with his family. And we should love thy neighbor and he lived only 31 years, that young man. So this is my tribute t-shirt for Charlie Kirk. I hope everybody else is doing okay out there. Thanks for listening. Give the video a like if you want. Let's stay safe and stay well. Thanks for watching. And by the way, I'm going to wait to take this out of the hoop until I hear whether or not he's going to be awarded that medal from President Trump. And if so, I might add something somewhere to show that, because that's really important as well. So anyway, again, thanks for watching.